The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was never quiet, but today it buzzed with angry voices. 12 different alien species sat around the massive circular table, their translators working hard to change their words into something others could understand. The air smelled strange, like metal and ozone, because so many different life forms breathed different gases. Admiral Zextar stood at the center of the room. His blue skin gleamed under the bright lights, and his forearms moved as he spoke. He was the leader of the Hegemony Coalition, the most powerful group of planets in the galaxy. When he talked, others listened. "The humans have gone too far," Zextar said, his voice deep and serious. "They have built colonies on 17 worlds. These worlds belong to us. We claimed them first." Around the table, other alien leaders nodded. General Vorth looked like a walking crystal, his body made of clear stone that caught the light. He tapped the table with one finger, making a sound like breaking glass. "The humans are new to space travel. They do not understand the rules." War leader. Hask was different from the others. His body looked like it was made of many small parts that moved together, like a swarm of insects in the shape of a person. When he spoke, his voice sounded like many voices at once. "We have been traveling between stars for thousands of years. These humans learned to fly between planets only 50 years ago. They should show respect." The other aliens agreed. They had all met humans before, and they thought humans were weak. Humans had small ships and simple weapons. Their technology seemed old and slow compared to what the great civilizations used. Most importantly, humans had only one home world. If something happened to Earth, that would be the end of all humans. "We must give them one last chance," said Zextar. "We will. Send them a message. They can give up their colonies and return to their home world. If they agree, we will let them live in peace. If they refuse—" He did not finish the sentence, but everyone knew what he meant. The vote was quick. All 12 species agreed to send the message to Earth. They would give the humans 7 days to decide. If the humans said no, the coalition would send their war fleets to destroy every human colony and then attack Earth itself. The message traveled through space, faster than light, carried by quantum transmitters that could send information across the galaxy in minutes. On Earth, the leaders of all the human nations gathered in the United Nations building in New York. They read the alien message with growing anger. Ambassador Jake Martinez stood at the front of the room. He was a tall man with gray hair and kind eyes, but today his face was hard with determination. He had spent years trying to build good relationships with alien civilizations. Now he saw that his work had failed. "They want us to give up everything," Jake said to the other human leaders. 17 colonies, millions of people. All the work we have done to spread humanity among the stars. President Carol Wright of the United States leaned forward in her chair. "What do our military leaders say? Can we fight them?" General Paul Adams, the head of Earth's Space Forces, looked at the papers in front of him. "Our intelligence says they have over 300 warships. Big ones. Their technology is better than ours in most ways. Their shields are stronger. Their weapons hit harder, and they have more ships than we can count. But we have some advantages too," added Admiral Pete Collins, who commanded Earth's Star Fleet. "Our ships are faster. Our crews are better trained. And we have some new technology that they have never seen before." The room fell quiet. Everyone knew what Admiral Collins meant, but they could not talk about it openly. For the last 10 years, human scientists had been working on secret projects. They had discovered new ways to travel through space, and new types of weapons that worked differently from anything the aliens used. "The question is simple," said Jake Martinez. "Do we surrender, or do we fight?" The debate went on for hours. Some leaders wanted to find a peaceful solution. Others said that giving up the colonies would show weakness, and the aliens would just ask for more later. In the end, they took a vote. The result was clear. Humanity would not surrender. Jake Martinez stood in front of the quantum transmitter. That would send their answer back to the Galactic Council. He had written the message himself, choosing each word carefully. When he spoke, his voice was calm and steady. To the Galactic Council and the Hegemony Coalition, he began. We have received your ultimatum. We understand that you want us to abandon our colonies and return to Earth. Our answer is no. He paused, looking directly into the camera that would carry his image across the galaxy. The colonies we have built are legal under galactic law. We have not taken any worlds that belong to other species. We have not attacked anyone. We have followed all the rules that govern peaceful expansion. Jake's voice grew stronger. But if you choose to attack us, we will defend ourselves. We will protect our colonies and our people. We are sending our fleet to meet yours at the neutral zone coordinates you specified. There we will show you that humanity cannot be bullied or threatened. The message ended, and the transmission went out into space. Within hours, it reached the Galactic Council. The alien leaders watched Jake's speech with growing amusement. They had expected the humans to beg for mercy or try to negotiate. Instead, the humans were acting like they could actually fight back. Their fleet? Laughed General Vorth, his crystal body flashing with colored lights. What fleet? Our spies tell us they have maybe 20 ships that could fight in space. Admiral Zextar was not laughing. He had studied humans for many years, and he knew they were cleverer than they looked. Send out the long-range sensors, he ordered. I want to know exactly what they are bringing to this fight. For 3 days, the coalition waited. Their war fleet gathered at the neutral zone, an empty area of space between human and alien territory. 300 ships of different sizes and shapes moved into battle formation. The smallest ships were destroyers, each one big enough to destroy a human city. The largest were dreadnoughts, massive vessels that carried thousands of crew members, and weapons that could crack planets. On the 4th day, the sensors detected something. A single ship was approaching from human space. It was moving fast, faster than most alien ships could travel. But it was alone. One ship? War Leader Hask's sworn voice sounded confused. They are sending one ship against our entire fleet? The alien commanders checked their sensors again and again. They looked for hidden ships or cloaked vessels. They searched for mines or traps. But there was nothing. Just one human ship, flying straight toward their armada. Admiral Zextar stared at the tactical display. After all his years of military service, he had never seen anything like this. What are the humans thinking? He asked himself. One ship cannot fight 300. It is impossible. But the human ship kept coming, and soon it would reach the neutral zone. Then they would have their answer. The U's Defiance dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the neutral zone. Captain Lisa Hayes stood on the bridge, looking at the main screen that showed the space ahead of them. Even though she had expected it, the sight still made her take a deep breath. 300 alien warships waited for them. The ships came in all shapes and sizes, but they were all much bigger than the Defiance. Some looked like metal spears, long and sharp. Others were round like planets, covered with weapons and armor. The biggest ones were so large that small cities could fit inside them. Well, there they are, said Commander Roy Baker, her second in command. He was a young man with red hair and a calm voice, even when facing impossible odds. I count 297 ships on sensors. 3 more just jumped in from hyperspace. Lisa nodded. She had commanded the Defiance for 3 years, but she had never seen so many enemy ships in one place. Her own ship was small compared to them. The Defiance was only 300 meters long, with a crew of 48 people. The alien dreadnoughts were 10 times bigger. "Any messages from the alien fleet?" she asked. Lieutenant Janet Lee, their communications officer, checked her equipment. She was a small woman with dark hair and quick fingers that danced over her. "Controls. Admiral Zextar is trying to contact us, Captain. He sounds confused." "Put him on screen," Lisa ordered. The main display changed to show Admiral Zextar on the bridge of his flagship. His blue skin looked darker than usual, and his forearms moved in what Lisa knew were signs of anger among his people. Behind him, she could see other alien officers working at their stations. "Captain Haas," Zextar said, his voice coming through the translator with a metallic sound. "I do not understand what your people are thinking. You have sent one ship to fight our entire fleet. This is not a battle. This is suicide." Lisa straightened her uniform and looked directly at the alien admiral. She was a tall woman with brown hair and steady blue eyes. Her voice was calm when she spoke. "Admiral Zextar, we received your ultimatum. We came here to give you our answer in person." "Your answer?" Zextar's large eyes blinked slowly. "You could have sent a message. Why risk your ship and your crew? For something so simple?" "Because our answer is not simple," Lisa replied. "We will not abandon our colonies. We will not surrender to threats. If you want to take our worlds, you will have to fight for them." The alien admiral leaned forward in his chair. "Captain, you have one ship. I have 300. Your weapons cannot hurt our shields. Your armor cannot stop our guns. If we fight, you will die, and nothing will change. We will still take your colonies." Lisa smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "Admiral, you know a lot about our ships and weapons. But there are some things your spies have not told you. On the alien ships, tactical officers were scanning the Defiance with every sensor they had. Commander Vorth's crystal body flashed with different colors as he read the reports. "Their ship looks normal," he told Zextar over the communication. "Channel. I see standard human technology. Nuclear reactors, chemical rockets, metal armor. Nothing special." War Leader Hask's sworn voice added, "Their crew is small. Only 48 life signs. Our smallest destroyer has more crew than that." But some of the alien officers were not so sure. Captain Nex of the science ship Seeker had studied human technology for many years. "Admiral," he said, "there is something strange about their power readings. The energy output does not match what we expect from their reactor design." Zextar ignored the warning. He had won 100 battles against species that thought they were cleverer than him. "Captain Hayes," he said, "I will give you one chance to save your crew. Surrender now, and we will let you return to Earth. You can tell your leaders what they will face if they continue to resist." Lisa looked around her bridge. Her crew was working quietly at their stations, preparing the ship for battle. She saw Navigator Bill Rogers checking their position, making sure they were exactly where they needed to be. Engineer Sam Foster was watching the power systems, his hands ready to boost their engines or weapons at a moment's notice. Dr. Helen Parker, their science officer, was at her station monitoring systems that most of the crew did not understand. She was a quiet woman with gray hair and smart eyes, one of the few people who knew all the secrets of their new technology. When she looked up and nodded, Lisa knew they were ready. "Admiral," Lisa said, "my crew volunteered for this mission. We all knew what we were facing when we left Earth. We are not here to surrender. We are here to show you that humanity will fight for what is ours." Zextar's face showed surprise and something that might have been respect. "You are brave, Captain. But bravery alone cannot win battles. I will ask you one more time. Will you surrender?" "No," Lisa said simply. The alien admiral sighed, a sound that came through the translator as a low whistle. And you have chosen to die. I am sorry for your crew, Captain. They follow a leader who has led them to destruction. The communication ended, and the main screen returned to showing the alien fleet. Lisa could see the ships changing position, spreading out into attack formation. Their weapons were powering up, creating bright spots of light along their hulls. All stations, battle ready, Lisa announced over the ship's communication system. This is what we came here to do. Everyone knows their job. Let's show these aliens what humans can do when they fight for their freedom. Lieutenant Commander Alex Thompson, their navigation officer, turned from his station. He was a tall man with dark skin and a serious expression. Captain, the quantum displacement drive is ready. All systems are green. Dr. Parker looked up from her console. Quantum. Field generators are stable. Torpedo tubes are loaded with the new warheads. We are ready to begin. Lisa took a deep breath. In a few minutes, they would either make history or become history. She thought about Earth, so far away, and about the millions of humans living on the 17 colonies that the aliens wanted to destroy. Those people were counting on her and her crew to keep them safe. Attention alien fleet, she said, opening a communication channel to all the enemy ships. This is Captain Lisa Hayes of the United Earthship Defiance. You have threatened our people and demanded our surrender. We reject your demands. If you want our worlds, come and take them. She closed the channel and turned to her crew. All right, people, time to go to work. The first shot came from a hegemony destroyer called the Sharp Blade. Commander Crix had grown tired of waiting and decided to end the strange standoff. His plasma cannon fired a bright green beam that should have cut the human ship in half. Beam passed right through the Defiance, like it was not there. What happened? Crix shouted at his weapons officer. Did you miss? No, sir, the officer replied, checking his instruments with confusion. Direct hit. But the beam went through their ship like it was made of air. On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Lisa Hayes watched the alien weapon pass harmlessly through her ship. Quantum displacement is working perfectly, reported Lieutenant Commander Alex Thompson. We are slightly out of phase with normal space. Their weapons cannot touch us. Lisa nodded. Dr. Parker, how long can we maintain displacement? Dr. Helen. Parker looked at her readings. 20 minutes at full phase. 30 if we reduce it to partial phase, but then some of their weapons might get through. That should be enough, Lisa said. Commander Baker, target the 3 closest destroyers. Fire quantum torpedoes. Roy Baker's fingers moved over his weapons controls. The Defiance had no visible gun barrels or missile tubes like normal ships. Instead, the quantum torpedoes appeared in space near their targets, created by the same technology that kept the ship safe from enemy fire. The torpedoes looked like small balls of twisted light, barely visible against the darkness of space. They moved slowly compared to normal weapons, but the alien ships had no idea what they were looking at. Their point defense systems tried to shoot the strange objects, but the beams and bullets passed right through them. The first torpedo reached the destroyer's sharp blade. Instead of exploding, it seemed to sink into the ship's hull like a stone dropping into water. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire destroyer began to come apart at the atomic level. Commander Crix had time to scream before his ship dissolved around him. The metal hull, the crew, the weapons, everything that made up the sharp blade broke down into its basic particles. In seconds, a warship that had fought in dozens of battles became a cloud of glowing dust. The second and third torpedoes hit their targets at almost the same time. 2 more destroyers died the same way, their atoms scattered across space like cosmic snow. Admiral Zextar stared at his tactical display in shock. 3 ships had just vanished from his fleet. Not destroyed, not damaged, but completely gone. What kind of weapon was that? He demanded Dot, his science officer, a creature that looked like a walking tree, checked the sensor readings 3 times before answering. Admiral, the human weapons appear to break down molecular bonds at the quantum level. They do not explode. They unmake things. War Leader Hask's sworn voice buzzed with alarm. Impossible. No species has weapons like that. The energy required would be enormous. All ships open fire, Zextar ordered. Destroy that human ship. Now, 300 alien vessels unleashed their weapons at once. Plasma beams, particle cannons, missiles, and energy blasts filled the space around the Defiance. It was enough firepower to destroy a small moon. All of it passed harmlessly through the human ship. Lisa watched the light show with calm eyes. Alien weapons made pretty colors as they went through her ship, but they could not hurt anything that was not quite in the same dimension. Navigator Thompson, take us into the enemy formation. Engineering, I need more power to the quantum generators. Aye, Captain, Sam Foster replied from the engine room. He was a big man with strong hands and a good understanding of the experimental systems that powered their ship. Quantum generators at 110%. We can hold this for 15 more minutes. The Defiance moved forward, passing through the alien battle line like a ghost. The enemy ships tried to track it, but their sensors could barely detect something that existed in 2 dimensions at once. Some of the alien captains tried to ram the human ship, but their hulls passed right through it. This is impossible, General. Vorth transmitted to the other commanders. His crystal body was flashing red with anger and confusion. How can they fight us if we cannot touch them? The same way they are doing it now, Lisa said, opening a communication channel to the alien. Fleet, you wanted to see what humans can do when we fight. Now you know. She gave Roy Baker a small nod. Fire all remaining torpedoes. 6 more quantum torpedoes appeared in space, each one targeting a different alien ship. The enemy vessels tried to run, but the torpedoes followed them, moving through space in ways that made no sense. 1 torpedo passed through 3 ships before reaching its target, a heavy cruiser that tried to hide behind an asteroid. The cruiser died like the destroyers, breaking apart into atoms and energy. Its crew of 3,000 vanished in seconds, leaving only empty space where their ship had been. Another torpedo reached a coalition battleship. The big vessel's shields flared as the weapon approached, but the torpedo passed through the energy barrier like it was not there. The battleship's captain had enough time to order an evacuation before his ship began to dissolve. Not all the crew escaped. Most of the escape pods launched successfully, but some were caught in the field effect as the ship came apart. Lisa watched the pods drift away from the dying vessel and made a note to rescue any survivors after the battle. The other torpedoes found their targets among the alien fleet. A carrier, 2 more destroyers, and a command ship all suffered the same fate. In less than 10 minutes, the human ship had destroyed 9 enemy vessels without taking any damage. Admiral Zextar's flagship, the Sword of Victory, shook as nearby. Explosions sent shock waves through space. The explosions came from ships that were trying to destroy the quantum torpedoes with their own weapons. When the torpedoes were hit, they released their stored energy all at once, creating dangerous fields that damaged everything nearby. All ships, cease fire, Zextar ordered. Do not shoot at the human weapons. Repeat, do not engage the torpedoes directly. But the damage was already done. The alien fleet was in chaos. Captains who had never faced an enemy they could not hit were panicking. Some ships tried to retreat, while others moved in random directions to avoid the ghostly human vessel. Captain Lisa Hayes stood calmly on her bridge, watching the enemy fleet fall apart. Her ship moved through the battle like a shark swimming through a school of fish. The aliens had superior numbers and firepower, But none of that mattered if they could not hit their target. "Dr. Parker, how are our power levels?" she asked. "Quantum. Generators are holding steady," the science officer reported. "But we are using a lot of energy to maintain displacement while moving through their fleet." 8 more minutes at current power levels. Lisa nodded. 8 more minutes would be enough. The alien commanders were already losing control of their forces. She had seen it happen before in war games and simulations. When an enemy used tactics that made no sense, even experienced officers could make mistakes. "Commander Baker, prepare." "The next torpedo spread," she ordered. "Let's see how many more we can take down before they figure out how to fight back." The news traveled faster than the surviving ships of the Coalition fleet. By the time Admiral Zexstar limped back to hegemony space, every major civilization in the galaxy had heard about the impossible battle. 1 human ship had defeated 3. 100 alien vessels using technology that seemed to break the laws of physics. On Earth, crowds gathered in every major city to celebrate. In New York, London, Tokyo, and hundreds of other places, people cheered and waved flags as news reports showed footage of the battle. The U's Defiance had become the most famous ship in human history, and Captain Lisa Hayes was a hero to billions of people. But in the quiet halls of government buildings and military headquarters, leaders were asking more serious questions. "Admiral." Pete Collins sat in his office at Fleet Command, reading reports from intelligence agents across the galaxy. The victory was wonderful, but it had also changed everything. "The Crystalline Empire wants to negotiate a trade agreement," reported Colonel Nancy Price, his intelligence chief. She was a small woman with sharp eyes who spent her days reading alien communications. "They are offering technology exchanges and mutual defense pacts." Admiral Collins nodded as he looked through the files on his desk. "What about the Hegemony Coalition?" "Mixed reactions," Nancy replied. "Some of their member species want revenge. Others are scared and talking about making peace. Admiral Zexstar has been removed from command and is facing a military tribunal." The admiral leaned back in his chair. "And the smaller species? They are taking sides," Nancy said. "Some want to join with us against the coalition. Others are afraid that humans will become the new bullies of the galaxy. Everyone wants to know if we have more ships like the Defiance." That was the big question. The quantum displacement technology had been experimental, built into only 1 ship. The scientific team that created it, led by Dr. Chris Walker and Dr. Nancy Price, had been working for years to develop weapons and defenses that could give humanity an advantage in space combat. "How long before we can build more ships with the same technology?" Admiral Collins asked. "Dr. Walker says at least 2 years for the first production model," Nancy replied. "The quantum generators require rare materials and precise manufacturing. We can make them, but not quickly." Admiral Collins understood the problem. The Defiance had won a great victory, but it was still just 1 ship. If the galaxy decided to unite against humanity, even their advanced technology might not be enough to protect Earth and the colonies. Meanwhile, Captain Lisa Hayes was dealing with her own challenges. The Defiance had returned to Earth orbit, where it was met by dozens of new ships and celebration parades. But Lisa was more interested in the technical reports from her crew. "The quantum generators are burned out," reported Chief Engineer Sam Foster. He looked tired after spending days repairing battle damage. "We pushed them way beyond safe limits. It will take weeks to replace them." Dr. Helen Parker was working at a computer terminal, analyzing data from the battle. "Captain, I have been studying the sensor readings from the alien ships. Some of their science vessels were recording everything we did. They will eventually figure out how our technology works." Lisa nodded. She had expected this. "How long do you think we have before they develop countermeasures?" "Maybe a year," Dr. Parker replied. Less if they capture one of our ships, or if someone sells them the information. Lisa walked to the bridge windows and looked down at Earth. The blue and green planet seemed so peaceful from space, but she knew that millions of people were depending on her and her crew to keep them safe. The victory at the neutral zone had bought them time, but it had also made them the most watched species in the galaxy. "Dr. Parker, I want you to work with Earth scientists," Lisa said. "Share everything we learned in the battle. If we are going to stay ahead of our enemies, we need better technology and more ships." 3 weeks later, Lisa received new orders from Fleet Command. She was called to a meeting at the United Nations building, where the most important people in the human government were waiting to talk with her. The meeting room was full of familiar faces. Ambassador Jake Martinez sat at the head of the table, looking older than he had before the crisis began. President Carol Wright was there, along with military leaders from every major nation on Earth. "Captain Hayes," Jake began, "your victory has created new opportunities and new dangers. We have received over 50 communication requests from alien civilizations. Some want to be our friends. Others want to study our technology. A few are threatening revenge for what you did to the Coalition fleet." General Paul Adams opened a file on the table. "Our intelligence shows that at least 6 major civilizations are working together to develop weapons that can hurt our ships. They are calling it the Human Problem Project." Lisa was not surprised. "What do you need me to do?" Jake smiled for the first time in weeks. "We are sending you on a diplomatic mission. The galactic core worlds have invited humanity to establish formal relations with the oldest civilizations in the galaxy. These are species that have been traveling between stars for millions of years. They want to meet the people who defeated the Coalition," added President Wright. "Your ship will carry our ambassadors and trade representatives to the core worlds. It will be a chance to show that humans can be partners, not just warriors." Lisa understood what they were really asking. The defiance would be a symbol of human power, a reminder to potential enemies that humanity could defend itself. But it would also be a diplomatic tool, showing that humans wanted peace if they could get it. "When do we leave?" she asked. 2 months, Jake replied. "That will give your crew time to rest and your engineers time to upgrade the ship. Dr. Walker's team has developed some improvements to the quantum systems that should make them more reliable." Lisa nodded. 2 months would be enough time to prepare for what might be an even more dangerous mission than fighting the Coalition fleet. In space combat, the rules were simple. Destroy your enemies before they destroyed you. In diplomacy, the rules were complicated and always changing. Over the next several weeks, news from across the galaxy continued to arrive on Earth. The Hegemony Coalition was breaking apart as member species argued about what to do next. Some wanted to build bigger fleets and attack humanity with overwhelming force. Others believed that peace was the only option that would not lead to their destruction. War leader Hask, whose ship had been badly damaged in the battle, sent a personal message to Captain Hayes. His sworn voice carried notes of respect when he spoke. "You fought with honor, Captain. My people have decided to seek peace with yours. We do not wish to be enemies of a species that shows such skill in battle." Other alien leaders were less friendly. General Vorth's crystal people were working day and night to develop new weapons and shields. Intelligence reports suggested they had formed an alliance with 3 other species to create an anti-human coalition. But the most interesting news came from the galactic core. The ancient civilizations that lived near the center of the galaxy rarely bothered with the affairs of younger species. For them to invite humanity for formal contact meant that the battle at the neutral zone had impressed beings who had seen the rise and fall of thousands of civilizations. "They want to know if humans are the next dominant species," explained Dr. Chris Walker during a briefing at Fleet Command. He was a tall man with white hair and kind eyes, one of the scientists who had made the quantum technology possible. The core worlds have seen this pattern before. A young species develops new technology, defeats older civilizations, and then either becomes peaceful or conquers the galaxy. Admiral Collins leaned forward in his chair. Which do they think we will choose? That is what they want to find out. Dr. Walker replied. The diplomatic mission is really a test. They will watch how Captain Hayes and her crew behave. If they like what they see, humanity could gain the most powerful allies in the galaxy. If they do not, he did not need to finish the sentence. Everyone in the room understood that the core worlds had weapons and technology that made human quantum generators look like simple tools. If they decided that humanity was a threat, not even the Defiance would be able to protect Earth. Captain Lisa Hayes spent her time preparing for the mission by studying everything humans knew about core world civilizations. These were species so old that they had forgotten their own origins. They had technology that could move stars and create new forms of life. Some of them no longer had physical bodies, existing as pure energy or living inside computer systems bigger than planets. How do you negotiate with beings like that? She asked Dr. Parker during one of their planning sessions. The science officer looked up from her research notes. Very carefully, she replied. But remember, Captain, they invited us. That means they see something in humanity worth talking to. We just have to make sure we do not disappoint them. On the day before departure, Lisa stood on the bridge of the Defiance and looked out at Earth one more time. The ship had been upgraded with improved quantum generators and new weapon systems. Her crew was rested and ready for whatever they might face among the core worlds. Ambassador Jake Martinez came aboard with a team of diplomats and scientists who would represent humanity in the most important negotiations in human history. As the ship prepared to jump to Hypers, Admiral Zexstar knew he was losing the battle, but he could not understand how. His fleet had lost 12 ships in 15 minutes, while the single human vessel remained untouched. Every weapon in his arsenal passed harmlessly through their target, like it was made of smoke. Science Officer Court, he called to the tree-like creature at the sensor station. Have you found any way to detect their real position? Court's leaves rustled as he worked with his instruments. Admiral, the human ship exists in our dimension and another one at the same time. Sometimes I can get a reading, but it changes too. Fast to target. War Leader Hask contacted the flagship from his own vessel. His swarm voice carried notes of anger and fear that his species had not felt in centuries. We cannot fight an enemy we cannot touch. Perhaps we should withdraw and study this new technology. No, Zexstar replied firmly. If we retreat now, every species in the galaxy will know that humans defeated the Coalition fleet. Our authority will be broken. General Vorth's crystal form flashed with desperate colors. Then what do you suggest? Our weapons are useless against them. Zexstar studied his tactical display. The human ship was moving through his battle formation like a predator hunting prey. It appeared and disappeared on sensors, striking when his ships least expected it. But there had to be a weakness. Every technology had limits. All science vessels, focus your sensors on the human ship, he ordered. I want to know everything about their power systems. How much energy does it take to maintain their ghost state? How long can they keep it up? On the Defiance, Dr. Helen Parker was asking herself the same questions. Captain, our quantum generators are running hot. We have been in displacement for 18 minutes. The system was designed for short bursts, not extended operation. Lisa Hayes looked at the tactical display showing the alien fleet. They had destroyed 12 enemy ships, but almost 300 remained. Even with their advanced technology, the math was not in their favor. How much longer can we maintain full displacement? Maybe 2 more minutes, Dr. Parker replied. After that, we will have to drop to partial phase or risk a generator overload. Lisa made a quick decision. Navigator Thompson, plot a course that takes us through the center of their formation. Commander Baker, I want you to prepare something special. Roy Baker looked up from his weapons console. What did you have in mind, Captain? Quantum mines, Lisa said. Dr. Parker, can we deploy them while in displacement mode? The science officer checked her calculations quickly. Yes, but they will remain in phase with us until we return to normal space. When we drop displacement, they will all become solid. At the same time, perfect, Lisa smiled. We are going to give them something to remember us by. The Defiance changed course, diving deep into the alien battle formation. Enemy ships tried to track its movement, but the quantum displacement made it nearly impossible. Some captains ordered their vessels to ram the space where they thought the human ship might be, but they only collided with empty air dot as the Defiance moved through the fleet. It left behind small quantum devices that were invisible to alien sensors. The mines were no bigger than baseballs, but each one carried enough energy to cripple a warship. Dr. Parker placed them carefully, using her knowledge of alien ship design to target the most vulnerable spots. Mine deployment complete, she reported. 47 devices placed throughout their formation. Lisa nodded. All right, people. Time for the grand finale. Drop us to normal space. Alex Thompson's hands moved over his controls. Quantum displacement ending in 3.2.1. Mark. The Defiance suddenly became solid again, appearing in the middle of the alien fleet like a magic trick. Every enemy sensor immediately locked onto the human ship, and weapons began turning in their direction dot at the same moment. 47 quantum mines became real throughout the coalition formation. The devices had been placed next to engine cores, weapon systems, and command centers. When they activated, they created small tiers in space-time that pulled everything nearby into higher dimensions. The effect was devastating. Ships that had survived the torpedo attacks found themselves with holes eaten through their hulls. A hegemony dreadnought lost its entire engine section when 3 mines activated next to its power core. The ship began spinning out of control, its crew struggling to regain stability. Coalition battlecruiser Iron Fist suffered an even worse fate. 2 quantum mines had been placed in its missile storage area. When they activated, the ship's own weapons began exploding in a chain reaction that tore the vessel apart from the inside. Impossible, breathed Captain Nex from his science ship. They deployed mines while invisible. How long were they planning this? Admiral Zexstar watched 12 more ships disappear from his tactical display. The human vessel was visible now, but it had already done terrible damage to his fleet. All ships, target the human ship. Fire everything. But the Defiance was not finished. Lisa had saved their most powerful weapon for last. Dr. Parker, activate the quantum cascade generator. This was the most experimental system on the ship, so new that only 3 people aboard understood how it worked. Dr. Parker's fingers moved carefully over her controls, adjusting settings that could either save them or destroy everything within a light year of their position. Cascade generator online, she reported. Warning, Captain. If this goes wrong, we could create a black hole. If we do nothing, we are dead anyway, Lisa replied. Fire when ready. The quantum cascade generator created a wave of twisted space-time that spread out from the Defiance in all directions. Unlike their other weapons, this one did not destroy ships directly. Instead, it made it impossible for energy shields to work properly. Across the alien fleet, defensive barriers flickered and failed. Ships that had seemed invulnerable suddenly found themselves naked to enemy fire. Some vessels collided with each, other when their navigation shields went down. Others drifted helplessly as their power systems struggled to work without proper shielding. Their shields are down, Roy Baker reported with excitement. All enemy vessels are showing critical system failures. Lisa saw the opportunity and took it. All torpedo tubes, rapid fire. Target the largest ships first. The Defiance unleashed every quantum torpedo it had left. Without shields to slow them down, the weapons moved quickly to their targets. Dreadnoughts that had ruled space lanes for centuries dissolved like sand castles in the rain. Admiral Zextar's flagship rocked as systems failed throughout the ship. Emergency lights flashed red as his crew tried to restore their shields. "Damage report?" he demanded. "Shields are completely down," his tactical officer reported. "Primary weapons are offline. Life support is failing on decks 7 through 12. Through his bridge windows, Zextar could see the human ship moving among his fleet like an angel of death. Every few seconds, another coalition vessel would vanish in a cloud of dispersed atoms. His 300-ship armada was being destroyed by a single enemy that he still did not fully understand. "Signal general retreat," he ordered, the words tasting bitter in his mouth. "All ships that can move, withdraw to hyperspace." War Leader Hask's transmission crackled with static as his ship's communication systems failed. "Admiral, my vessel cannot jump to hyperspace. Engines are down. I think we are going to die here." Similar reports came from dozens of ships. The quantum cascade had damaged their hyperspace drives along with everything else. Many vessels were trapped, drifting helplessly while the human ship decided their fate. Lisa Hayes stood on her bridge, watching the alien fleet fall apart around her. In 30 minutes, her single ship had accomplished what entire human battle groups might not have been able to do. But she felt no joy in the victory. Too many beings had died today, even if they had been enemies. "Open a channel to all remaining alien ships," she ordered. Her face appeared on screens throughout the coalition fleet. Many alien officers stared at her with fear, expecting to hear terms of surrender or demands for unconditional submission. "This is Captain Lisa Hayes," she said, her voice calm and professional. "Your fleet is defeated. Your shields are down and your weapons are offline. But we are not butchers. All ships that can still move may withdraw. We will not pursue you." She paused, looking directly into the camera. "Take this message back to your leaders. Humanity will defend itself. We will protect our colonies and our people. If you leave us in peace, we will leave you in peace. But if you threaten us again, you will face the same fate as your ships today." The transmission ended. Across the alien fleet, those vessels that could still move began jumping to hyperspace, leaving their damaged companions behind. In minutes, the great coalition armada had been reduced to a handful of crippled ships and expanding clouds of atomic dust. The battle was over. Humanity had won.